Okay, so basically, today on my live stream, we have a little doggy this time. His name's Duke, by the way, if anybody was interested. Maybe, maybe not. Today I'm feeling very lazy and not in the mood to be scared. So, yeah, I decided to do a little stream. Today we're going to do story time. Yeah, story time. And the story we're going to read today is apparently named 1999, but I know it as Caloden Local Channel 19, whatever, 21. Caloden Local 21. That's the actual name for, I think, I don't know, or something terrifying. Yeah! Hi Sienna! It's story time! Yay! Yeah, so it's about a bear and a load of kids going missing and stuff. So it's a scary story. Disclaimer. Duke, what are you doing? Yeah. Also, instead of tea, I have relentless. Good stuff. And I got unicorn. And the unicorn's in the background, and my rabbit, and my sloths. So yeah, we're just gonna get started. If anybody wants to say anything before we get started, Sienna, yes. And yeah, you shouldn't be drinking that. I can drink it if I want to, so I'm just like, relentless is the best. I think that should be just not advertising. The dog's being very weird. Do not go for the balls. Hold up. Somebody's ringing me. Sorry. Oh no, we've got a cat invasion. Duke, no attacking the cats, child. Okay, so I find that pretty rude. I'm staying because, yeah, also, have a look. Yeah, okay, Gucci. Sorry about that. Also, Duke, put the ball down. Child, behave. Behave. No balls. Go down. Ugh. Ugh. This is awkward. Come on. Okay, so he decides to eat the balls instead of playing them. That sounds very wrong. Gonna do that. Effort. Oh. Okay, so let's get down to reading the story. Already stolen 4 minutes. I apologise, Scoochie. Am I forgiven? I apologise. Breathe. Right. Okay then. Let's just get into this. I'm reading from my TV, so if I'm looking up all the time, you know why. Okay. And I got something else. The year is 1999. That sentence brings me back to my senior kindergarten class when I was 5 years old, where we used to read out the date on the blackboard every single day. The year 1999 exists as a stain in my mind, however, as a memory that will not go away no matter how hard I try to forget it. 1999 marked the year I lost my first tooth, my first time on a plane, and unfortunately, the early loss of my childhood innocence. God. That one memory that refuses to be wiped. It all started with the new or old TV at the time. At the time, Pokemon was the latest fad to hit the school. Pokemon cards, games, stickers, and the most popular, the TV show. So, of course, every time I came home from school, I would stay glued to the TV until Pokemon came on at 5. The only problem was that my dad watched the news at 5:30 and Pokemon episodes were back to back, which means I had to miss an episode every day, something I whined on and on about. My dad got tired of hearing me complain every day. That must be why he went and bought another TV. So, bit mean to, not let me. I would have watched it. Not gonna lie to you. I would have let my child watch it, but let's carry on. My dad put the TV he bought in my room. Unfortunately, it was just an old small boob tube with rabbit ears. It also had only 20 channels available, not including the channel Pokemon was on. So there was no point in this. Yeah, but I recall I didn't care though. I was just thrilled I had my own TV in my room. After surfing through the channels, I came to the conclusion that only Channel 2, TVO Kids, was worth watching, so I watched that for a while. It wasn't for another few months until I discovered Channel 21. One day in April, I was flipping through the channels trying to see if Pokemon was on. I pressed Channel 21 into the remote, hoping there were more channels, and to my delight there was. My dad was surprised too, but he let me watch it because it seemed to have kids programs on. The channel was called Caloden Local 21, and later I found out it was indeed broadcasted from the town of Caloden, Ontario, a town very close to my city. The shows I saw on Caloden Local 21 looked poorly made, and I never understood what was going on in them half the time. However, as I grew up, every time I thought of that channel, I realised more and more how messed up the shows were, and I had to ask myself, what the hell was I watching? The following is a list of shows and episodes I remember seeing on Caloden Local 21. How I remember such detail even disturbs me, but I guess things like this stand out in your mind for a while. There were only 3 shows I could find on the channel, probably because the channel was only operational between 4 PM and 9 PM. Very rude comment. Wait, did you comment anything before that? Because I was trying to... No. I'm enjoying life, and hey Rowan! Hi! How are you? This is Gucci. And this is not too much sugars, because I'm dying anyway, it's fine. I'm allowed to drink it. So. Wow, I'm unloved. I said I love you too! Jesus Christ! Calm down, dude. Sorry, I'm a bit dead. Okay, so let's carry on with this story. April 1999. Booby. Episode 6, Together. I recall Booby was a show where the characters were simply live-action hands. No puppets or anything, just hands. The show featured a hand named Booby who found himself in a new situation every episode. The show was only 5 minutes long and looked like it was shot in front of a damp, decaying wall. God, my head hurts. Right. decaying wall with the hands always on a table with a red tablecloth. Very low budget, obviously. What? I did not get that. I apologize. Babies went to war. Okay. Okay. This was the first episode I watched. The episode began with Booby trying to get ketchup out of a bottle. It actually showed him beating himself against the bottom of the bottle for a good 3 minutes. Finally, another hand came by and looked at Booby. Together, the other hand said, and it began beating the bottles as well, until some ketchup finally squirted out all over the table. I chuckled slightly at this part. Booby then stared at the ketchup mess for a few seconds, before turning toward the camera as it slowly zoomed in on him. That was that episode. I'm sorry, I sound horrible. Apologise. Okay. Let's just scroll down. Takes ages because it's on PlayStation. I'm sorry. Breathing. Mr. Bestseller, episode 12. Very sketchy name if you were to look at it nowadays. The show featured a guy wearing a bear mascot costume who would get a new visitor into his cellar every day. It was always a kid. The show was filmed with a camcorder, and not a very good one either. The police asked me a lot of questions about this show. This episode started with Mr. Bear sitting at a table playing checkers by himself. I didn't recognise it at first, but the table was the same one from Booby. Calm down. I'm trying to read. I apologise, my reading's horrible and my voice sounds horrible, but I really want to show you guys this story, so I'm sorry. It's a good story. It gets spooky, I promise. He sat there playing for a bit until there was a knock at the door. The camera was then looking up the stairs at the door. When there was another knock, Mr. Bear climbed the stairs and opened the door to reveal 2 young children. One was a boy about my age and the other was a girl who looked about 8. Mr. Bear danced in delight and then started talking to the kids. I couldn't hear any of them that well, I remember. Mr. Bear then led the kids to the cellar, which was quite dark, only lit by a small oil lamp on the table. I can't really remember that much more, except him singing a song which I couldn't hear too well either, probably because of a large bear mask. The episode ended with them playing hide and seek, with the kids hiding in a closet and Mr. Bear counting. Spooky, scary skeleton. No, there's no skeletons involved in this story whatsoever. So you can drop that. No. Right. May 1999. Soup and Spoon. I don't think this was even a show. I think it was more of a special movie thing. All I know is I stopped watching Caloden Local 21 for a while because I thought this show was too stupid, especially since Pokemon was now on at 4:30 and 5. I don't remember much of this, but it showed a can of soup and spoon, both attached to string, swinging back and forth. No. Stop. Where was I? Where the hell am I? Well, no, I stopped watching Caloden for a while. I don't remember much of this, but it showed a can of soup spoon, both attached to strings, swinging back and forth, as if someone was holding them and dangling them in front of the camera. Interestingly enough, the show was shot in a basement, which looked just like the one used in Mr. Bear's cellar. Like I said, I can't remember much. The only thing I can remember clearly was the end. Now this is where it gets a bit weird. The entire thing was only half an hour and just included stuff I found stupid, such as the spoon chasing the soup around trying to eat him. The ending showed a table, the one from Booby once again, and only 7 kids sitting around it. Why did I say only? And about 7 kids sitting around it. Each with a bowl of soup in front of them. They were sitting and looking at the camera, but with confused, almost frightened faces. The cameraman then held the can of soup in front of the kids instead. Spoons. Ready? And then it just stopped. Shut up. I will ban you from this chat if you don't stop. I'll get a bot on you. Okay, July 1999. It was summer and I hadn't watched Channel 21 for a while. Until one day when I slept over at my friend's house, I decided to check it out again. My friend had gotten a TV in his room for his 6th birthday. So we stayed up very late. For us, 9:30 was very late. And watched TV. That's when I remembered Channel 21 and brought it up to my friend. We decided to see if it was on, and to our surprise it was. They must have changed the broadcasting time. Mr. Bear's Cellar, episode 23. This episode was entertaining for my friend and I, mainly because it had swearing. However, now when I think of this episode, I realise something was definitely wrong when it was filmed. The episode started with the camera on its side, while it was facing Mr. Bear, who was walking up the stairs to the cellar door. The camera then blacked out for about a second before fading in, back upright, and facing Mr. Bear. There was also another kid talking to him, but this kid looked about 11 or 12. He was talking to Mr. Bear for a while, but I couldn't hear well. Again, with the crappy camcorder, until the kid started raising his voice. The kid was saying how it was late and his sister had to go home. You could also hear more voices in the background. I remember Mr. Bear clearly saying, "Get the fuck out, you're not invited," with a deep voice muffled by the bear mask. I remember my friend and I looking at each other and laughing at the mention of the forbidden F word. But the episode got weirder. The kid began climbing the stairs before turning around and saying how he was going to call the police. Really, Filey? At this precise second? I'ma just... where was I? The kid began climbing the stairs to turn around, please. Mr. Bear began breaking into a run towards the kid, who started screaming and running as well. The camera then cut out, and that was the end of the episode. The channel then turned to static shortly after. Whoa, it's starting to get a bit... By the way, I'm just saying, this is said to be not a story. So, I know I just said it was a story, but... yeah. I know I just said it was a story, but... carrying on. Okay, so, Baby, episode 42, Playing with Skizzers. One rainy afternoon I was bored, so I decided to watch Channel 21. When I started watching, some show about a guy sitting in an armchair was just finishing. I forget that it was about what it was about though. When I first saw this episode, I thought it was for teenagers because it had blood in it. Duke, calm down. What are you doing? You're just going to sit on my armchair. Calm down. You gonna moan or you gonna come here? I'm gonna moan. I apologise for the doge. He's missing a dokie. When I started watching something else, I forgot that way. You wanna go with the cats? You promised not to fight with them though. Apparently not. Who wants to see my doge before I carry on? I know someone might wanna. Your choice. I forgot. Because I know it was. Okay. When the police told me everything, I know now who the blood belonged to. The episode showed Booby and another hand with a ribbon around the pinky finger. Booby's girlfriend. Booby was holding scissors and hopping around back and forth, while his girlfriend slowly swung around aimlessly. Another hand shot into the scene. This hand was smaller though and was jerking around violently, as if someone under the table was forcing the hand, and I later found out this was the case. Scissors are very dangerous, kids, so hold them safely, Booby said to the camera. I noticed I could also hear muffled screams, but I wasn't sure where it was coming from because of the bad sound quality. Booby's girlfriend grabbed the smaller hand, which was thrashing about, and Booby went at it with scissors. He started with the thumb. He opened the scissors wide and clasped them onto the thumb. Blood began oozing out, and then muffled screams were now very loud. My 5-year-old self was very grossed out. That's when I decided maybe Booby was a show meant for teenagers or grown-ups. Then the scissors got to the bone. A horrible crunching noise was heard, and that's when I turned the TV off. I never discussed it with my dad because I feared he would limit my TV time. Yeah, it's disgusting. Ew. August 1999. I didn't want to watch Channel 21 after the Booby episode. It was in August. I grew more curious to see Mr. Bear's cellar for some reason though. The last episode I saw Mr. Bear was weird. It and had swearing, which also made me think the show was meant for teenagers. Nonetheless, I flipped on to Channel 21 when my dad was busy. Mr. Bear's Cellar, episode 28. Apparently this episode had been playing the entire month of August. It was studied a lot by the police. The entire episode was just Mr. Bear sitting in a chair talking to the audience. Hello kids, do you want to visit my cellar? If you do, please write me a letter at this address. The screen then switched to a white screen with multicolored letters reading the address. And that was what remained for the rest of the episode. So guess what I actually did? I sent Mr. Bear, or that sick bastard who portrayed him, a letter. I did it out of curiosity mostly. My dad was okay with it because he thought it was a legit kid show. But then again, he never saw any of what was on Channel 21. So I wrote a letter using my best writing possible. I think I just said how I wanted to meet Mr. Bear and if Booby also lived in the cellar. My dad sent a letter to the address, Mr. Bear said on the show. It stayed on all day anyway for some reason. It took about a week to get a response, which I was surprised I did. I still have the letter I received August 15th, 1999. The letter read, scroll down. I'm sorry if I sound weird because legit, what I'm reading off, it sounds like, I know this sounds like I'm really bad at reading, which for one thing, I am. Apologies. And for the second thing, it's on my TV, and the letters are like this big, so I'm just like, boy. And I'm blind anyway, so what can you do? Anyway, it read, Dear Elliot, thank you ever so much for your letter. I would love to have you in my cellar. We play games, watch movies, and go fire camping in the middle of the woods. And yes, Booby does live in my cellar. He is a good friend of mine. Come to my house at the police cut out the address. Caloden, Ontario, CA. I look very forward to having fun with you. Love, Mr. Bear. I cannot believe my dad never found this sketchy because he actually took me to the house. And then that's when the police became involved. Those endless questions, those pictures of terrified kids, the woods. That brings me back to why I'm writing this blog. That psycho and his friends did some fucked up shit back then, and now it seems he's trying to get into contact with me again. The entire police thing is coming back. That brought 1999 back to me. Over a decade later, it is happening again. Update. People have been emailing me asking what exactly happened in 1999. I will get to that. Those weird TV shows I was watching apparently were meant to attract kids to Mr. Bear's house. What Mr. Bear did shocked the entire town. My dad actually drove me to Caloden along with the address Mr. Bear left on the letter. The house was actually in the outskirts of town, in the open farmland. I still remember that house. It looked like an older farmhouse that looked to have been built in the early 1900s. The windows were all boarded up and the house looked in a state of disrepair. As we walked up to the house, I remember my dad checking the address over and over again and looking at the house in disbelief. The door opened. I expected Mr. Bear to be at the door, but I was surprised to see a police officer emerge from the creaking doorway. The officer began talking to my dad while I quickly asked if that was Mr. Bear's house. The officer's face cringed slightly and muttered, "Oh God," or something like that. He started talking quietly to my dad so I couldn't hear, although my dad told me to go to the car anyway. And then we just went home. My dad was quiet the whole way home. I felt something strange had happened. This is where I wanted to, I know this sounds weird, but basically I tried to do a video on this before and I wanted to include like photos and stuff, but like I can't because it's a live stream, so yeah. Carrying on. My dad never told me what happened for a while. I forgot about it anyway too. Channel 21 no longer came on, and when I asked about it, my dad would not acknowledge its existence. I think it was when I was 13 where I learned the truth. I remembered Channel 21 one day and asked my dad about it. I guess he finally decided I should hear the truth. Caloden Local 21 was a local TV channel that ran from October 1997 August 1999 in the Peel region of Ontario. The entire channel was made from a house in Caloden, the one I visited, and run by a man who was not really known by anyone in the town. The channel was only available to older TVs because the signal was only picked up by rabbit ears, weaker frequency. The man created all the shows on the channel, of all which were kid shows. His hand was Booby, he was Mr. Bear, and he was the mysterious cameraman. The real reason he created the channel was more disturbing than what was originally thought. As you may have already guessed, he kidnapped kids and held them in his cellar. But while most people thought he was a serial child molester, he really wanted to use the kids for another purpose. The day I arrived, the man had fled his house the night before. The day before the police went in for their investigation, I was the only one who was watching. I wasn't the only one who was watching. Another update. Sorry for not answering any questions for so long. I haven't accessed my email account for some time. Anyway, let me finally set things straight about what I know. Back in October, I visited the house previously owned by the man who ran Caloden Local 21, two women lived there, operating a daycare business. How ironic. Now to answer the questions you guys emailed me. Number 1. Who else watched Caloden Local 21? Okay, so my answer is I know other people watched it for sure, including those kids who wound up at Mr. Bear's house. After some Google searches, I found a few people on the NeoSeeker forums who were discussing shows from Caloden Local 21. They talked about the kids' shows I watched, but also 2 other shows I had never seen before. a user named I Am Real Life seemed to know all the shows that were broadcasted on Channel 21. Here are the two I've never heard of. Number 1, The Fallen Angel of Life. I Am Real Life described it as a fairly boring show about a guy rambling on and on in front of the camera about how he must please Satan and appease him before it is too late. And then there was number 2, which is called Paint with the Soul. I'm Real Life and another user called SIGY92 were discussing this show. They described it as a Blair Witch-like, as it's considered of the cameraman wandering around a forest at night doing nothing particularly interesting. I'll go looking for the conversation and see if I can get a link. Question 2. Where is Mr. Bear, or the guy who wore the costume? The answer is, if I did know, I would have said earlier. I have no idea where this guy is, if he's dead or alive, hopefully dead. When I see my dad's friends next time, I will ask him about this. Maybe I could get more definite answer. Question 3. What did Mr. Bear do to the children? My answer is, this is by far the most common question I've been asked. I found this out in October as well, via my dad's friend who is a retired Caloden regional officer. Apparently the man playing Mr. Bear took the kids out of the house and into the forest nearby. What he did there, the police are not exactly sure how it happened, but 16 charred bodies of children between the ages of 4 and 13 were found in a 5 by 15 by 15 foot ditch deep within the forest. My dad's friends did not want to go into exact details, but I'm seeing him next Thursday anyway, so maybe I can extort more information from him then. Voice crack. That's all I have for now. Thanks for keeping and interesting my blog. I will try to gather as much information as I can for my next post. I've actually been getting pretty interested in this myself. It should be my right to know what the hell happened. And another update. I'm sorry I haven't posted anything for a while. I kind of lost interest in this blog since I hit a standstill while looking for more information about the identity of the owner of Caloden Local 21. Doggy. Mwah. However, a few weeks ago, I struck gold. I found some answers surprising from the father of a kid I used to babysit. He lives just across from my street, and I used to look after his kids when they were younger. He currently doesn't have a job either. He used to live near the woods outside of Caloden and witnessed the owner's activities in the woods. His name is Anthony Polo. When he lived in the small bungalow outside the woods, he would often venture into the smoke and join. He would often venture in to smoke a joint or marijuana or two before returning to his work as a wood craftsman. Polo described that sometimes he would hear voices of children coming from deep within the woods, as well as a glowing light off in the distance. Polo told me these events started in late 1997. No, this is around the time Caloden Local 21 began airing. He apparently became annoyed by this happening every once in a while and actually went to investigate. Polo then described what the whole scene looked like when he got there. There was a group of kids, he said, about 13 to 17, ages 5 to 12, gathered around a large fire pit with a burning fire. With them was a single adult. Polo talked to the man. Nothing is unusual, unkempt appearance of a crack addict, as well as his constant twitching, and asked what he was doing out in the forest with children. The man said they were on a camping trip, something they did frequently. Polo. Not suspecting anything, Caloden has one of the lowest crime rates in Canada, simply left it at that and told them to be quieter. Polo then paused for a while before telling me that they never became quieter. In fact, sometimes he heard loud chanting from the children in an unknown language. He didn't bother meeting with the man again, and he was moving away anyway. Ooh, spooky. I told Polo that the man was probably the owner of Caloden Local 21, but he doubted it, as he heard that the man was moving to Pickering by several other residents near the area. Here's what I know now. The man would take kids into the woods regularly for camping. The fire pit Polo described may be the hole the bodies of the children were found in. The children Polo saw are probably the ones found dead, and the man moved to a city called Pickering, a small city east of Toronto. I will discuss this with my dad's friend, the ex-cop, and see if this matches anything the police knew about the man. I also want to see if he has any other knowledge of what was aired on Caloden Local 21. Yay! Update! Good news, guys. I talked to my dad's friend and he disclosed a lot of information for me. I found... first I asked if the police had any information on the man who ran Caloden Local 21. He replied that they have only had the same leads for years and never found a suspect. However, the Peel Region Police do have some of the tapes found in the house Caloden Local 21 was broadcasted from. He took me over so I could watch a few. I guess I haven't said much about him yet. My dad's friend's name is Michael Wilson. A pretty nice guy. He seems to understand my thirst for knowledge on what happened during the late 90s in that house. He feels it was wrong that my dad went so long without telling me much. I mean, he was like 13 or something, I don't know. My throat's killing me. He took me to the Davies Road Police Station. If you don't know, it's the largest station in Caloden and one of the largest within the Peel region itself. The main stand have some of the tapes. The Davies Road Station has 3. I got to watch all of them. Unfortunately, I wasn't allowed to take any home for obvious reasons. Booby. Episode 2. Friends are like flowers. This was one of the first Booby episodes made. The camera quality looked crappier than usual, possibly an even older camcorder. But the scene was set in the same place as the Booby episodes usually took place in. I recognised it instantly. The episode began with Booby swaying back and forth contently for a few seconds before another hand entered. The other hand was much smaller, looking as if it belonged to a young child. The smaller hand eagerly began bouncing around before sliding up to Booby, bringing its fingers together to kiss Booby. After a few seconds, Booby grabbed the smaller hand and squeezed it tightly. This continued for at least 10 seconds before the camera slowly panned left until the hands were out of sight. The camera continued panning until it showed a wilted daisy lying by itself. The camera then zoomed in on the daisy slowly as a little girl's voice became audible saying, "Friends are like flowers in the garden of life." The episode then ended. Paint with the Soul. Episode 10. Garbage thrown away. Paint with the Soul was one of the shows that I Am Real Life and SIGY92 discussed on NeoSeeker. I told the police about this and they informed me that 12 episodes of the show were made and broadcasted between December 5th, 1997 and January 8th, 1998. Exactly as I Am Real Life and SIGY92 described, the episodes open with the cameraman wandering around in a forest. It appears to be during the evening, as it seemed the sun was setting. The cameraman walked along a path until he got to an area where there was a lot of garbage laying in the leaves. The camera looked around at the various wrappers, bottles, bags and boxes, making sure each item got a few seconds of the screen time. The camera then focused into a single area before the man spoke. I recall he spoke in a very timid, quiet voice, and I swear I've heard it somewhere else before, like on another Caloden Local 21 show. I could barely hear what he was saying, but he mainly talked about how humans are garbage, or something that had to do with saving ourselves by cleaning up the garbage, meaning us. It actually sounded really stupid, but still a feeling of dread came over me. I mean, that forest was possibly where those bodies were found, right? Another one. Mr. Bear's Cellar, episode 25. When the police administrator brought this tape in, I actually said, "Oh shit," and chuckled a bit out loud. Of course I got stares from the staff, but Wilson explained to them about my little experience with Mr. Bear and how I still keep the letter he sent me. Like the previous episodes, this one included a guy wearing a bear mascot costume. The episode began with Mr. Bear waddling over to the red cloth table with a bottle of orange juice in his hands. Pause. On the table were 16 shot glasses as well as a small bottle that contained an unknown liquid. Mr. Bear poured an equal amount of orange juice into each glass before opening the smaller bottles and depositing one drop into the glasses. Mr. Bear then went off camera. There were some minor sounds such as shuffling and then Mr. Bear emerging from behind the camera's location. Following him were 16 children. Some looked as young as 4, others looked like little doggy. Others looked like they were practically teenagers as the children entered. The administrator commented that this is the only episode that showed all 16 victims. Juke, not the rabbit, child. Ugh. Behave. I can see you. Juke, behave. Come here. Okay, let me do something that can take his focus away from the little rabbit, because he seems to be crazy about it. There we go. You can't see the rabbit now. At least the rabbit can sleep. There we go. You happy now? I just hit him in the face. I apologise, little doggy. What was I? Convocation. The kids all looked rather content except for this one who had visible bruises on his face. And unlike the other kids, he had a more fearful expression. He also looked about 12 or 11, which caused me to recognise him. He was the kid who asked about his sister and subsequently met an unknown fate at the end of episode 23, that one episode I watched during July 1999. When I told the administrator this, he confirmed it was the same kid. He was also featured in episode 24, an episode that was aired once at 3 in July 1999. The police have still not found the tape. Mr. Bear then broke into song singing about citrus fruits and how good vitamin C was for you. I could barely hear the lyrics as they were muffled by the bear mask. The kids all drink their juice, the one from episode 23 doing it rather reluctantly, and the episode ended. After viewing the 3 tapes in possession of the Davis Road police station, I'm satisfied, but only temporarily. I still want to know the full story. The police just kept giving me the same crap about the creator of Caloden Local 21 and began a fetishist, paedophile, and, well, as an apparent cultist. Oh, so he had a cult. Duke, come here. Good boy. I will sign off for now, get into university later. Hopefully I will get back to this blog as soon as possible. Update. On April 17th, I finally got my G2 license. In Ontario, Canada, this allows you to drive in a car by yourself as well as with some passengers after 6 months. I, of course, took advantages of this and drove into Caloden for a little Sunday drive. Since I haven't updated this vlog in a while, I figured I might as well visit the house where the infamous channel of my childhood was located. The house looked different than when I last saw it in October. The place was no longer used as a daycare and just sat there abandoned. However, I did have a for sale sign showing that someone still owned it, wanting to get rid of it though. The abandoned house drew fuzzy memories from my mind, mainly of that day my dad took me to visit Mr. Bear. A feeling of dread came upon me. What happened to the children while they were living in this house? I walked up the steps to the front door and peered through the window. Inside I could see a nearly empty hallway with a few boxes at the end. At the end of the hallway to the right was an open doorway, presumably leading to the kitchen. To the left were 2 doors, both apparently leading to the rooms visible through the windows outside. I wondered where the cellar entrance was located and whether it had been sealed up. I walked around... Calm down. I walked around to the back of the house and found my answer. 2 wooden doors lying at an almost flat angle were padlocked shut. This had to lead to the cellar. Not wanting to hang around, you can imagine what was going through my mind at the time, I departed. Behind the doors, the empty field continued on until it reached a dense forest that lined the horizon. I wondered if that was the forest where the bodies of the children were found. I thought to myself, fuck it, and proceeded to walk across the field behind the house into the forest. The forest was oddly quiet, save for a few periodic sounds of a woodpecker drilling into a distant tree. I cautiously made my way deeper into the woods, not really caring about the fact that I had no idea where I was going. I didn't know how to explain it, but it felt like there was something I had to find. I came to a thinner part of the woods and a few small houses in the distance. Apollo's house crossed my mind, and I wondered if one of these homes had belonged to him. I neared a small clearing in which I could see 3 adequately sized logs gathered around a black, charred area, showing a small fire had been lit there recently. "Hey! Get out of our fort!" Those words nearly gave me a heart attack. I turned to my left and saw 2 dark clothed people running toward me. My individual thought was to run. However, as they came closer, I saw that they were really just kids in their early teens, possibly 13 or 14, maybe even 12. As they approached me, they realized my size as well. I'm 6'1", while they could have been no bigger than 5'8". One might have been 5'7". We said, "Get the hell out." The larger one, who was wearing a slip-knot shirt, had half-heartedly. I stood my ground and shrugged. The shorter one, who was wearing a metallic shirt, swung out a butterfly knife and held it to my direction. "No, You wouldn't want to, I said in a deep, serious tone, trying to sound as badass as possible. I pulled out my cell phone. The two kids withdrew. The one in the Metallica shirt pulled away the knife. Look, dude, we don't like people in our fort, so can you just go? The one in the Slipknot shirt said. Obviously intimidated. Okay. I had no business in the forest anyway, but I uttered out a simple fine and turned before I realised I had a great opportunity. Did either of you hear of a guy who murdered a bunch of kids in these woods about 13 years ago? I asked the kids. The two looked at each other confused before the one wearing the Metallica shirt answered, yeah, everyone knows about that guy. He said to me as if I was stupid. The kid in the Slipknot shirt continued. He still lives around here, in the storm drain. My big brother's friend says he saw him in a bear costume once wandering around the forest at night. My instincts told me this was probably a lie, and the owner of Caloden Local 21 is probably long gone, only existing as folklore in this smaller, isolated community. However, as a human, the thought of the mysterious unknown sparks interest within. And where is the storm drain? I asked. Just out of curiosity, I don't actually believe the kid's story. The kid in the Metallica shirt stared at me for a few moments, his eyes seemingly full of annoyance, yet curiosity for me. You're not around from here, are you? Why did you even come here? Now I do admit I was slightly startled by the nature of his question. However, I figured I might as well explain why I was here, just in case people mistook my intentions. I told the two kids about my experience with the man in Caloden Local 21 and that I had come to maybe seek out some sort of closure, although even I wasn't exactly sure. The kids seemed familiar with the channel, and they smiled and looked at each other when I mentioned it. They also became more understanding and gave me a detailed description on how to get to the storm drain. Shortly after, I decided to just turn around the way I came and head back to the house, leaving the kids to their fort. But now you're probably wondering why I left out such detail about what the kids told me just now. Is it because I'm choosing to conclude what I have gathered now? Here is what the kids told me in detail. The storm drain lies ahead of the kids' fort, the same direction I was heading. The drain ends at a small river where access water is drained out. Near here is a small playground. The kids told me people rarely use it. The man supposedly lives in a large pipe that rainwater, where am I? Suppose he lives in large pipes, although anyone either wearing a bear mask or the mask and a full body bear costume. No, I do not believe this is true, and in fact simply a myth made by the residents of Caloden. The story does not seem plausible in any way. Why did no one call the police? Didn't this guy look suspicious? And other questions like this leave the story invalid. I may visit the storm drain, not because I believe the story, but because I want an excuse to visit Caloden again. So this blog doesn't die. With no more tapes to watch, I don't know what to talk about anymore. Thanks for continuing to support me and my blog. I know many are looking forward to more information about what happened in Caloden during the year 1999. And I will do my best to continue my research into the topic. Elliot, out. Upload. Wow, nearly 5 months since I last updated. I'm guessing everyone pretty much thinks I was dead, right? Thankfully I'm not. But in all my seriousness, I really have been busy these past few months. and a blog about something that could have killed me as a kid is a little low on my current priorities list. As of now, I'm living in Waterloo, Ontario. Attended the University of Waterloo for computer engineering. Yeah, I'm a keener. As you can imagine, engineering is no walk in the park, so obviously I nearly forgot about this blog. But as you can see now, I am back. I remembered to visit the storm drain the kids from the Caloden forest told me about. It was out in the clearing between the wooded areas, nearby a marsh. Unfortunately, I found absolutely nothing, save for a turtle that retreated into the building home when it saw me. I snapped some pics of the pipe, which I have posted as well. Also, let me tell you, it was not a storm drain like they said it was. What I saw was a simple pipe, possibly to channel the excess water from the marsh. When I returned from Caloden, however, I simply kept putting off uploading everything until I forgot all about my blog. It just didn't seem important anymore. Please forgive me. It wasn't until only recently I am now interested in my case again. Only September 10th I received an email from this email address, returntheb@hotmail.com. God, can I even read anymore? Oh my god. Funny, am I right? Well, it gets better. I'm going to copy and paste the exact email this guy sent me. Be quiet, child. Come here. Stop being hard done by. Come here. Ugh. He's only being stubborn. Ignore him. Okay, come here. Okay, so this is the email that this dude sent him. Dear Elliot, my dear boy, I've missed you ever so much, and how you've grown. Your twinkling eyes have stayed the same. However, those eyes looking for adventure. Oh, how imagining them brings warmth to my old bare heart. The day you came to visit me, I felt so happy. I wanted to go out and pick strawberries. He told me you would come looking. Oh yes, he told me you would come looking. Now, it will be soon. You won't be so lonely soon. I'm ever so sorry I couldn't say hello when you came to visit. Not once, 2 times. Do not fret, however. You will soon finally get to play with the other children. I will try making my celly even more cozier than before. 100 fuzzy hugs, Mr. Bear. Now, obviously this letter is fake, but still I would like to thank whoever sent it. Just reading this letter creeped me out, but because of it, I am now full of this new interest to continue my blog. I guess it's just funny trying to pursue the mysteries I've always questioned. My roommate knows about all of this. He thought the letter was real. He actually seemed more scared than I was for a second. But then I shrugged it off, so he did too. I mean, be quiet. What are the chances of this being real? How would Mr. Bear know when I went to Caloden on those occasions? More or less know my email or me, since still be interested in his cellar. I'm going to send a reply to return the bee. Wow, just looking at the email address, you could tell someone wanted me to freak out. It didn't really work though, although to whoever you are, thank you for sparking my interest back into the full matter. Maybe I could find out more about what happened to Mr. Bear. Hopefully, because although I don't buy the email, a part of me still feels anxious. Thank you to all those who are still following me and have become fans. You are also why I am choosing to continue this. Thanks, guys. Update. Wow, I can't believe this blog hasn't been deleted yet. Calm down, child. It's okay. I just did something wrong. I haven't posted anything for so long. I have my reasons and I'd rather not discuss them just yet. It's been a rather traumatic year for me. Some of you are right. I shouldn't have gone back trying to relive the mysteries of my childhood, but I couldn't resist. It's been over a year since my last post and a lot has happened. Let's recap where I am right now with regards to the whole Mr. Bear incident. So that email is no longer in use. I tried applying to the email, but I got no reply. I tried again back in March, still no response. I've actually moved up to Ottawa, which is capital of Canada, for those who don't know. For this university, so I haven't been back to Caloden or back home in the Peel region for a while. I had my reasons for leaving, as you could guess why. I had to make a new email account because people kept prank mailing me pretending to be Mr. Bear. Thanks a lot, you guys. Not. Why have I ventured back to this blog, Michael Wilson? Remember my dad's ex-cop friend gave me a phone call on October 23rd about a tape that was found in the branch of the Brampton Public Library. Brampton is my hometown, in case you haven't picked up on that. He claims he isn't allowed to discuss the contents of the tape with me as it is still the evidence, but he asked me to come check it out when I return home. Tape got the gears grinding again, but because we all know what was the last tapes I saw, I can only imagine what can be on it. I'm guessing it must have something to do with Caloden Local 21. I guess I just wanted to say I am continuing this blog, and thank you for everyone who's still following me. I don't know when my next entry will be, but when I see the tape, I'll write what I find. I don't know what to expect, but the idea of seeing another tape has gotten me interested in the whole mystery all over again. My voice. My little doggy's asleep now. Okay, so another update. It's been a long year for me. University has been giving me the usual sleepless nights, especially since I transferred to Ottawa, which is the place to party. Sarcasm. Yeah. But now I'm back home with my dad in Brampton, the town I grew up in. I got home on the 18th of December and have been visiting with friends and family. Or at least that's what I would rather have done now that festive holiday cheer that I usually have at this time of the month is absent. Towards the hundreds of emails and comments I got, yes, I did see the tapes that my dad's friend Mitchell Wilson promised to show me. Ugh. These tapes, however, act as a curse. I want to know more, yet I want to forget everything. I couldn't help it. I needed to see those tapes. Not only for myself, but for all you guys who are just as intrigued as I am by that ominous man in a bear suit from my past. However, after viewing those tapes, I feel that pit of dread deep inside me once again. That feeling where I know that all those kids in those videos are dead. That I could have been one of those kids, and that humanity is a dark, dark place. If you haven't skipped this paragraph for the juicier details below, thank you for listening to my rambling. Okay, so on Friday, Wednesday, January the 1st, I called Mitchell Wilson and asked if there was a time where I could come by and view the tapes. Things were pretty slow at the station because of a snowstorm, so he said I could come down anytime that day. The tapes were located at a branch not too far from me. So I braved the slushy roads and terrible Brampton drives and made my way to the Peel Regional Police Station located at the Bramley City Centre. I met Wilson at the front desk, where he then led me up to the second floor and into a small office. He instructed me to have a seat and wait while he went to go get the tapes. Before leaving, the officer, he turned to me and said, "I know you're curious, but are you sure you want to do this?" Of course I did, or at least thought so. Besides, Wilson's friend had pulled a lot of strings to get me in there, and I didn't want to waste the opportunity. This particular station had 4 tapes on hand. I had to watch 3 of them, however, because the 4th tape was apparently too damaged to be placed on a VCR. Okay, so Paint the Soul, episode 3. Can I even count? My voice sounds horrible right now. Oh my god. Not that it sounds good. Anyway, but you know. This bit's really creepy. I'm not sure if it's this episode or the next one, but bye. Hi, if you're still with me. I would be very proud because we've been doing this for 66 minutes now, which is an hour and 6 minutes. Oh, I apologise. Chill and everything. Okay, so Paint with the Soul, episode 3. How to Dust a Room. I'd almost forgotten about this show. I never did see it on TV, but I did see that one episode, the Caloden police station. The episode opened up the camera panning around a small empty room. There was a window on the wall opposite of the door. Outside, it was light out. The cameraman walked towards the window, revealing a small clearing before a dark, thick forest, about 15 feet from the window. The cameraman panned around to face the door and finally spoke. Today, I am going to show you how to properly dust a room. I recognise the cameraman's voice as the same from before. Quiet, timid, only this time with a clear stutter. Now here's where things got weird. The cameraman aimed the camera at his feet, revealing a metal broomstick. And he grabbed it with his free hand. His hand was that of a white male, so it was easy to see the fresh, bright red blood that covered it. Ew. The man then explained that in order to get the room nice and dusted, you have to make sacrifices. And with that, the man began to smash the white plastered ceiling with the broomstick. Soon, there was a significant hole in the ceiling, revealing the wooden slats that made up the roof. The floor was now pretty messed up with chunks of ceiling littering the floor, as well as a coating of plaster from the ceiling. The man aimed the camera at the floor and began to smash the large ceiling pieces with his feet. The man then backed up to the door and had the camera show the mess he had created. And now the room the episode ended before he could finish. Wilson warned me the next 2 tapes were more disturbing. I insisted to keep watching, although a voice at the back of my head told me I shouldn't. Booby! Great, this one again. Episode 30. Children of the Light. Shit. This is where it gets super creepy and So let's just do it. Yeah, Booby episode 30, Children of the Light. Ooh. It was Booby, one of those shows I'd actually watched as a kid. I had never seen this episode before, and now I wish that was still true. The episode opened up with the same way as every other episode I had seen. A single adult hand, Booby, was rocking back and forth. After a few seconds, Booby turned towards the camera and said, "Songs are sung the best when sung by children." The hand then disappeared out of view below the table. After a few more seconds, suddenly the picture cut to outside. aiming at a bonfire in a small pit. It was night, and it appeared to be a small clearing in the forest, although it was hard to tell because of the camera quality. The camera then zoomed into the fire, which was burning fairly steadily. Suddenly a human hand was forced into the fire by a pair of adult human hands. The hand was small, presumably belonging to a child, and was being held firmly in place by two larger hands. Sound was absent for the first few seconds until a song began playing. The song I recognized from my childhood. I would sing it in church or at school. I went to a Catholic elementary school. If you don't know, it's here. If you don't know it, here's a link to a YouTube video. We're gonna watch it. Or listen to it, cause why not? It might be really loud. Let me get my remote. Yeah, it's very loud.
We are children of the light.
Yeah.
We are shining in the darkness of the night. Hope for this world. Joy through all the land. Touch the heart of everyone. Take everybody's hand.
So this song, I know. Just think, little kids singing this while another kid's hand's being burned off. That's why this episode's called Children of the Light. Okay, so if you want to hear the rest of this song, then you can go do that, I guess. I'm not sure why you would want to do that. And now I need to go find where I was at the story. Great. I was in a we can see everybody really enjoyed that story. Oh my god, I was very far. Okay. Update. Finally got license. Blah 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 blah. I know it's a bit. Ugh. Just think about that with the situation that I'm reading out now. What? This is. Wait, where is it? University. Wait, what? Yes, I did. Yay. Suddenly the picture cut to outside. Yeah, Children of the Light, right. The song began playing as the hand was being held in the orange. I went too far. In the orange flames, it continued as the hand struggled to escape the larger hand's grip. It continued as the flesh of the hand began to turn a beet red and peel away. It continued as dark smoke began to rise from the hand. It must have taken only a few minutes for the hand to become blackened, save from the few instances of white bone visible under the charred flesh. Fuck, that image is burned into my mind. The hand was now limp. It no longer moved. The episode then ended. Ugh. Disgusting. Mr. Bestseller, episode 30. Don't worry, we're almost finished. Mr. Bear never ceased to disturb me, especially after what almost happened when I was younger. This episode took place outside in a forest at dusk, making it slightly hard to see, especially considering the quality of the film. A trademark of anything from Caloden Local 21. The episode started with the camera being held in the of Mr. Bear aiming at himself. Great. That bear mask, it looked more sinister in the shadows of the trees. That unmistakably muffled voice spoke up. Hello, children! Today I will be doing a wonderful thing for my friends. I'll be delivering them to a faraway land where they will surely be happy. Mr. Bear turned the camera around to show an ATV with an attached trailer like this. I can't see it. But what stood out the most was that the trailer contains 7 motionless children lying side by side. This here is the first load, but more will be on their way soon. Mr. Bear turned around and pointed the camera at a large burlap tarp spread on the ground. He picked the tarp up, revealing a large hole that must have been at least 12 feet deep and maybe about 15 feet wide. The rest of the episode consisted of Mr. Bear taking each kid and dropping them into the hole. I asked Wilson if they were dead, to which he shook his head and replied, "Not yet." Soon all the kids were in the pit. Some were in awkward positions due to being tossed in, but they remained unconscious. The vitamin C will surely help these children on the great journey that awaits them, Mr. Bear mentioned as he panned the camera towards multiple bottles of gasoline beside the bush. The camera zoomed into the bottles as Mr. Bear hummed before the episode ended. Wilson revealed to me that these were 7 of the 16 victims, found burnt to a crisp. The gasoline is what the man playing Mr. Bear used to light them on fire. A pit full of burning children. Who the fuck would do that? That feeling of dread found me once again when I realized that I could have been one of those kids. Wilson then explained to me that he had previously lied, and the 4th tape owned by the Bramley Police Branch did indeed work and contain the filming of the actual burning. However, he felt that I wouldn't be able to handle the disturbing and graphic nature of the episode. And you know what? Maybe I can't, but I don't even want to see it. I'm satisfied now, but I just need some time to get myself together. The thing is, the man who ran Caloden Local 21 is still out there. More to come soon. INRI. Once upon a time, there lived a boy named Elliot. Elliot was clever boy who loved playing with his friends. One day, he watched a lovely television show about a bear and his children friends. The children loved helping each other as good children should, but they also loved the bear. The bear loved the children since the children were so good at helping him and the fallen angel. The children and the bear wanted to play forever with the help of their friend Booby. But the fallen angel needed even more help. So the children had to give the ultimate sacrifice, because that's what friends do, Elliot. They help each other. Help us, Elliot. Burn with us, Elliot. I want you, Elliot. He wants you, Elliot. Come back to my cellar. Pretty please, with sugar and icing on top. Mr. B. INRI. Update. I wanted to update more, I truly did. However, certain circumstances had turned me off the whole Caloden Local 21 thing. I've since then had hundreds of emails about my blog and was even in contact with a magazine about my story. But now is the time to come clean to everyone. Where have I been for an entire year? The story of Pandora's box is true, and I opened it. I opened it last June when I watched the 4th tape in possession of Bramley Police Branch. The other subject I'd like to address is the number of joke/fake emails I've been getting from the people claiming to be Mr. Bear. Let's start with the fourth tape. This is what traumatized me into stopping my search temporarily. Blah. After a few weeks of playing silent, I decided to ask Michael Wilson if I could view that infamous fourth tape he had talked about. I don't know why, I just felt that viewing that tape would give me some closure. Wilson was obviously reluctant to show me, but I was persistent. He gave me an offer. If I was still interested by the time I turned 20, he would show me the tape. Not being able to do much else, I just played the waiting game. By the time I turned 20 in June, I was definitely still interested in viewing the tape. I gave Wilson a call in which he admitted that he hoped that I would forget about asking him again, but I was not taking no for an answer. You really don't need to see it, he kept telling me, but I didn't need to see it. I had to at this point. Sure enough, he invited me to the Bramley branch one Monday afternoon. Having watched every Saw film and a video of animal slaughterhouses in my ethnic class, I was sure I would be able to handle whatever the tape could throw at me. How optimistic I was. Mr. Bear Seller. Episode 31. Ugh. This is the last one. When Wilson went to collect the tape from evidence, the officer in charge of the evidence room shook his head at me, his face saying, "What are you doing?" Wilson explained that this tape includes the last known episode of Mr. Bear's Cellar. I rightfully assumed that I would be seeing the fate of the children. I began to feel a sense of dread. The episode opened inside a forest, the unusual one from the previous episodes. This fact took me a while to realize because it was night. The trees and leaves just looked like shapes dancing around in the darkness. A faint glow of light and was present on the right side of the screen. There wasn't any apparent audio. It appeared to be a windy night, yet the trees weren't making any noise. Slowly the camera began to pan towards the glow, revealing smoke rising from a hole with the tips of flames peeking over the top. Wilson paused at this point. "Are you sure you want to see this?" he asked me. I insisted on it, even though a voice in my head was telling me not to. The video continued. The cameraman moved towards the hole, showing a pit of fire. This was the hole that I had seen in the previous episode, only this time it was filled with shapes. I could see shapes moving around, fluttering, flailing, some motionless. I knew perfectly well what they were. The camera began to adjust to the light and burning flesh, red, black, and a blur of several movement and colours. I wish I could forget what I saw, but you can't forget a scene like this. This was not a horror movie. This was reality. Human beings being killed in a horrifying way. A fate that I could have potentially met. The video suddenly cut to dawn. The camera now positioned farther away from the hole. The fire was out. However, there was still smoke smouldering up. A figure was up ahead. I recognized it right away. The Mr. Bear suit was laid out on the ground. Empty. It looked just as unnerving. The suit was laid out in the shape of a cross. The camera did a lap around the suit, treating it like a treasured artifact. Placed at the head of the suit was a sign, in bold red letters. INRI was printed. The cameraman moved back to the end of the suit. Zooming into the bear's face, the episode finally ended. I was speechless. It was like a dream. you can find a lot of terrible things on the internet, but I'd never seen anything like this. Wilson asked if I was okay, and I replied with a shaky yes. I assured him as we left that I was fine and that the video gave me some closure over the whole incident. He didn't seem too confident in me, but he left it at that. He was right though. I had nightmares for weeks. I gave up. I didn't care about the whole thing anymore. A sick man burnt a bunch of kids alive, attracting them with a fake kids TV channel. I could have been one of those victims, yet I'm still here. I suppose I should be grateful, but I feel guilty. Am I still here only by pure luck? 10 months later, I'm back, but now I need to address something else. Okay, so my email has been flooded with messages. Some people asked for more details, some asked if I could upload the tape, and some people emailed me claiming to be Mr. Bear. First, I cannot get the tapes uploaded as they A, in police evidence, and B, I've no idea how to get VHS onto the computer. Now, 2 people pretending to be Mr. Bear, you're not fooling me. When you have dozens of people pretending to be the same person, it doesn't work. I've even seen fake Caloden Local 21 YouTube channel, which is cute, but still not real. Even more annoying is the fact that someone hacked my account to put up some demented poem and about me on this blog. I'll leave in the entry above this one just to show you guys. I have contacted an admin about the entry and was told that the entry was posted on Halloween. Oh, spooky. Attached the email paint with B, which I assume is another joke email. I'm over episode 31 now. The images of what I saw will stick with me for a while, but I want to do one last hurrah. I will get into contact with Michael Wilson again and hopefully get set up with the tapes in possession of the other Peel police branches. I'll try to update you guys as soon as I can. I'm sure this won't take a year again. Thank you to everyone who still reads this. Update. I promise it's over soon. Hey guys, once again, I'm sorry for taking so long to update. I've been fortunate enough to find a full-time summer job that pays pretty well, so I've been busy lately, but I managed to find the time to pursue Mitchell Wilson in allowing me to view more tapes. He managed to get me into the Horontario Street branch to view some evidence found at the sinister Mr. Bear house. Wilson never made it clear how many tapes Horontario had, but they only showed me one of them. The tape I was shown contained 2 episodes. And we got 2 more episodes to read out. We could do it. We could pull through it. Whoever stuck with me through this song, I've got a feeling it's summer. You're a G. Thank you. Thank you for staying with me this long. Okay, let's get on to it. Paint with the Soul, episode 2. How to find berries. Paint with the Soul never stood out to me because I never saw it on TV myself, and the actual episodes didn't make a lot of sense. The episode started with the usual bad quality, cutting right to an alleyway. The cameraman made his way through the alley, the derelict buildings on one side, a rusting metal fence on the other. Hey, painting heads, today I'm going to show how to find some fresh wild berries. I recognise that voice as the one from the other episodes, like episode 3. The man's voice was fairly shaking and sounded somewhat anxious. The man walked over to a mattress turned against the building. Here we have the house where the squirrels hide things. The man pulled out a shaking hand. It was covered in what looked like blood, with the bad quality of the film. The liquid looked alarmingly bright. The hand grabbed the mattress and pushed it onto the ground, revealing the plastic container behind it. The camera zoomed into the container, revealing it to be full of small red berries. And here we have berries. The man placed the camera on the ground so that it was level with the berries. He took a small handful and presumably ate them. Tastes good, the man exclaimed. Suddenly a scream erupted from somewhere in the distance, causing the man to hastily pick up the camera, and the episode cut out shortly after. The Booby, episode 39, Piñata Party. I was alerted that this episode contained disturbing content. After that last episode of Mr. Bear's Cellar, I believe that there isn't anything I could handle. I hadn't seen a Booby episode in a while, so I was curious of what would be involved in this one. I now wished I hadn't. The episode started off fairly normally. Booby and his unnamed companion were talking about what they were planning a party for their friends. But Booby suggested that they use a piñata as a party game. His friend agreed, and the hand playing the character began doing odd finger motions. The episode suddenly cut to a dimly lit room. It appeared to be an empty pantry. What hit me instantly was that there was a man bound to a chair in the middle of the room. His body appeared lifeless and slumped over to one side. Another man walked up from behind the camera. The man in the chair began struggling, and muffled screams could be heard. The other man was wearing dark clothing with a hood to obscure his face. The other man then produced a metal baseball bat and held it over the man's head. He took a swing and landed a hard blow. The sound was dull but deep enough that I knew he had been hit hard. The other man mostly obscured the whole view, but the man in the chair was now lifeless and slumping forward. The other man continued to swing and hit, eventually producing blood that began to paint the white ceiling and wooden walls. I'm glad that the other man remained and obscured the view. I would not have wanted to see the result of the baseball bat to the human head. The episode ended shortly after. That episode was definitely on the disturbing side. I asked the officers if the man on the chair has been identified, and they said it was apparently the father of one of the children kidnapped by Mr. Bear. I guess he went to Mr. Bear's house to rescue his son or daughter. I didn't ask for a name, but I'm wondering if I should have. I also realised that this episode was close to the infamous Playing with Scissors episode. If the other later episode of Booby are like this, I don't think I want to see any more. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to view the police videos. I honestly feel like I'm getting nowhere, and when I try asking for help, all I get are joke emails about people claiming to be Mr. Bear. That one email, paintwithb.com, was an obvious fake email about how he or it loves me, and when I replied telling him to fuck off, he just replied with INRI. This shit really has to stop, but I digress. I will continue to seek out information. Thank you all for continuing to read this madness. From Elliot. And yeah, that's the whole story. That's it done. I was asleep. Lovely. I love to watch that. What the fuck? Hi. Baby Duke. Hi, Maddie. Wait. What is this? I've been missed so many comments. Notice me, senpai. Oof. Duke, it failed, bitch. Me. Duke, Mudgy, Ha. Oh no, I'm scared. Raw. You're a skeleton shivering down. No. Dude, your rabbit's asleep? Ah. He's adorable. Woo! Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to read a couple of comments about what people thought of this creepypasta, because it is, in fact, a creepypasta. And there's a Dukey there. I'll show you a Dukey. Hey! Duke. What's this? Beautiful. I know, right? Here's a Duke and there's a baby Duke. Let me try and put this camera up again. When you fail to... Okay, I don't know. Right, we're going to read some comments, because I've got no more ideas, obviously. Ooh, maybe next time we're going to do a Slender Man one or something. I don't know. Or... what's his name? I don't know his name. I seem to forget. But, right. This is by Owen Strand. When I started watching some show about a guy sitting on an armchair was just finishing, I forgot what it was about though. That's the... yeah. The Fallen Angel of Life. I am real life described as a fairly boring show about a guy rambling on and on in front of the camera about how we must please Satan and appease him for it's about today. And then to those quotes he said, okay. What next? The 20th century. Okay. Behold, one of the best creepypastas out there. Yeah. This is definitely one of my favourite videos. Say that this story is slow, but it seems that they were both wrong a little bit. But then I'm not trying to attack the story, but it just feels of the... was my favourite. Then new stories came out, but now it's my favourite, but I think people who dislike it don't know what a good creepypasta is. It's just my opinion. Yeah, that sounds about right. Depressed Chef says, as well as How to Find Berries episode 3 seems to resemble Alan tutorial destroying his bedroom ceiling and being kicked out of his brother's house. Sahali KR said, could you please update your story? 3 bloody years since you've updated. 3 years! 3 goddamn years since you've updated. Please update the story. R.I.P. Elliot. You will be missed. I wonder what happened to Elliot. This is why I hate Canada. I hate it too. Oh wait, I'm Canadian. Oops. Well, that was interesting. Who wrote this creepypasta story? Well, shit. Please continue this madness of Mr. Bear. I give this an 8.1 rating. Wow. Wow, this is really great. It is a lost episode pasta, which I like, and it has the right amount of disturbing, so it doesn't seem like it could suck out your soul, but also it doesn't seem like a Looney Tunes cartoon. Give it a better ending and not make it so repetitive, and it's perfect. Okay. This is fantastic. It's well written, scary and gory, which in my description of a perfect creepypasta, my only complaint is that it needs a better ending. Yeah, so basically, people are saying it needs a better ending. Okay. What creepypasta should we look at next? Slenderman. Sorry if you can hear this, like, Slender Man. Hell yeah. Hold up, let me just look at something. Jeff the Killer. You wanna watch that? You wanna read me to read? I don't really know his story. I mean, Jeff the Killer. Okay, okay, I'll do Jeff the Killer. Jeff the Killer story. Oh. Oh. Oof. Okay. We'll read it. Yay. So Summer, how did you like this story? 1 out of 10. Be serious. Don't hate on it. Think what you say carefully, child. Ah! I just got greeted with a pang-ass picture of Jeff the Killer here. 10! You liked it? Were you in it the whole time? Did you listen to it the whole time? Ooh. Yeah, you were here. Oh, yay! Whew. I'm so proud of you, actually. Thank you for sticking with me. You're the best. I thought people would just get bored straight away because it's reading a story, innit? Okay, I'm just going to show you something real quick. This is the picture I was given. Jeff the Killer. That is terrifying. Ugh. Yeesh, chicken nuggets on a stick. Ugh. At least I got my relentless. Right, I'll be back in a second. Just gonna make a nice cup of tea. I won't take long. It'll take me like a minute. You can even count it if you want. I'll tell you when to fast forward to when I'm back. What number of the video? Hello! I'm back. Ugh. And you can say whatever you want. I'm eating cheese. So what? Cheese is the best. Do not bully me. Okay, so how long is the story? Okay. It's quite long, yeah. Great. I'll read it in a minute. Wait, I zoomed in a bit too much. But yeah. From the newspaper. Oof! Nom nom nom. Yeah, it tastes good. Nom. Very rude, but okay. Oh! I can click a button and it says random pasta. I could choose a random creepypasta if I want. Should I do that or Jeff the Killer? Because I don't know his story. I'm not familiar. So, what would you like, children? Child? Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. I don't know. I've got light up trainers for a tenner and you're not bothered. Okay. Let's not do Jeff the Killer then. Okay, let's do something else. Hello? Okay, we're probably gonna read Slenderman. Dude. Creepy. Uh-huh. Fandom. Find all the creepypastas. But yeah. Caloden Local 21 is probably my favourite. Dude. That's weird. Oh. His story isn't that long. Slenderman is an alleged paranormal figure purported to have been in existence for centuries, covering a large geographic area. Believers in Slenderman tie his appearances with many other legends around the world, including Fear-Dolf, or the Dark Man in Scotland, the Dutch Takenman, Branch Man, and the German legend of Der Grobman, or Der Grossman, the Tall Man. It's terrifying. Oh, I love Slenderman. He's great. I love his games. I love everything. The Slenderman. Very nice. I know. Slenderman being male in appearance, he looks like a man with extremely long, slender arms and legs. He also appears to have 4 to 8 long, black tentacles that protrude from his back. Can you stay tonight? I'm gonna have to consult with my mother for that one. Right. Back to do different photographs and I don't know, she's asleep. Disagree on this fact, and therefore it is theorized he can contract with these tentacles at will. Oof. My doggy's whining. He's missing Mum. Wow, why you gotta do me like that, Duke? He just clicked off it. Harm. Ba, 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 ba. Yay. Right. How do you feel when I got brand new trainers for a tenner? Not bothered. Honestly, not bothered. Good on you, child. Am I meant to be jealous then? Oh my god, I'm so jealous. Right, he is described as wearing a black suit strikingly similar to the visage of notorious Men in Black. Oof. And as the name suggests, appears very thin and able to stretch his limbs and torso to inhuman lengths in order to induce fear and ensnare his prey. Once his arms are outstretched, his victims are put into something of a hypnotized state where they are utterly helpless to stop themselves from walking into them. Okay. He's also able to create... What? He's also able to create from his fingers... Create tendrils from his fingers on back that he uses to walk on in a similar fashion to Dr. Octopus. The superhuman stretching ability could also be seen as a similarity between himself and Mr. Fantastic. Whoa. Whether he absorbs, kills, or merely takes his victims to an undisclosed location or dimension is also unknown, as there are never any bodies or evidence left behind in his wake to deduce a definite conclusion. His face is pale and slightly ghostly, and almost appears to have been wrapped in a type of gauze of cloth. His facial features are also an object of debate, and many people believe that his face looks different to each person, if it is seen at all. He sometimes is portrayed wears a hat, which is sometimes a bowler or fedora or something. Sometimes a what? He may also be seen wearing a long flowing necktie or scarf, which is either red or grey. He often keeps his long pale hands crossed, potentially behind his back, or hanging those at his sides. His suit is black, sometimes portrayed as pinstripe in artwork, a common misconception thanks to the very similar Jack Skeleton from Nightmare Before Christmas. He has long coattails, which he lets flow proudly. He wears long dress shoes, which are always shined a perfect gleaming black. His behaviour, much of the fascination with Slender Man is rooted in the overall aura of mystery that he is wrapped in, despite the fact that it is rumoured that he kills children almost exclusively. It is difficult to say whether or not he is only objective in slaughter. Oftentimes, it is either reported or recorded that he can be found in sections of woods, and these generally tend to be suburban. He also has been reported seen with large groups of children. Where? Children, as many photographs portray. It is commonly thought that he resides in woods and forests and preys on children. He seems unconcerned with being exposed in the daylight or captured in photos. It is often thought as well as he enjoys stalking people who become overly paranoid about his existence, purposefully giving them glimpses of himself in order to further frighten them. For this reason, it seems like Slenderman very much enjoys psychologically torturing his victims. He also often appears to float or drift around rather than walk, which suggests that possibly the possibility of him being the real being rather than a creature or a man. This would also explain why he is able to remain mobile in spite of his poorly proportioned body. Even though Slenderman was fabricated on something awful forums, or was he? Some people have already claimed sightings. He is seen mostly at night, peering into open windows, and walks out in front of alone motorists on secluded roads. His main intentions appear to be kidnapping children, as when he is seen near them in photographs, they usually disappear shortly afterwards. Slenderman has also inspired many stories, such as those of horrible hornets. There's been a misconception about my pal the Slenderman due to the experience of this article. He does not have hair or a face. Okay. Everything else is correct. There is also some Man U is losing to West Ham. Man U is losing. I don't. Okay. It's kind of sad to be honest, but you know. He does not have hair or face. Everything else is correct. There was also some questioning as to whether or not there is more than one. I find this unlikely. It's mostly like Slendy fucking with your head in order to make you think that there is more than one, which he has been known to do. As for now, Slendy has 3 or 4 known accomplices. These are Hoodie, Masky, the Rake, and possibly the Observer. Not much is known yet because the next episode of the Noah Maxwell ARG has not yet been released. In the Marble Hornets ARG, Hoodie and Masky are possibly his followers. In the Everyman Hybrids ARG, the Rake seems to be working with them, but we aren't really sure if that is true or not. Ah. Okay, so, and there's like, okay. Oh, what is this Slenderman documentary? I want to see that. 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 Oh no, is that available? Oh, that's abuse. Right, this one. That's, okay. I'm going to turn the camera to view this so you can see it too. I'm not a YouTuber. I am, but I'm not. You know. It's okay. It's only Slenderman. Not creepy at all. Okay. That makes sense. Oh. Okay. That makes sense, doesn't it? Very nice. I know, right? Oh my god, when you drop your phone. Jesus Christ. Ah. We good. Okay. Well then. Oh! I know what we're gonna do. Mr. Bear. Mr. because there's videos that portray the videos that I described earlier. So I'm gonna show you those as well. Videos. Mr. Bear Seller. Yeah, right, I spelled wrong. Ooh, I know. Ooh. Let's have a look. Just zoom out real quick. Zoom out. Wait. Ugh. It sounds so weird. Ah. No. No. Okay, I'ma just. Nah. Oh my god, there's my doogie in the background. And then there's me. Sammy tagged me in the. Okay. Let's watch this. Ugh. Not creepy at all. Okay, that's not checkers for one, that's chess. Okay. Shit. Struggling there, mate. Bear costume a bit too big for you. I know, right? Very nice. The fuck? What? Okay. Okay. Not weird at all.
One, two, three,
Ear
four,
rape.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28,
It's
29,
okay.
30. Ready now, here I come.
Not creepy at all. Even my little baby's scared. Look at him. I know. It's really weird. Okay. Oh. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Um. Okay. That made a lot of sense. Kinda. Ugh. It's creepy, isn't it? What else we got? I'm trying to find some videos that look. Okay, we'll watch this one. It's 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Hi. Ugh. Ugh.
It's Mr. Bear. Haven't you ever wanted to be a star? Haven't you ever dreamed of being on TV? Well, you can be. Come to my cellar, and you can be part of my show.
Okay.
You'll make all your friends jealous that you're on TV. You can even bring your friends if you really like. Don't bring any adults though, or your parents. After all, this is a kid's show. You'll meet all of my friends. We're all waiting.
Ah, the hands got
Please come
Dude.
to my cellar. Visit the show. Please come to my cellar.
That's supposed to be a white hand
You
right
can
there.
see where
White.
all
It's meant to be white.
our original shows are made.
Ugh.
And even
Stop.
Star One. If you would like more information, or you want to actually visit, please write me a letter at the address at the end of this show.
Ew.
I'll be waiting patiently for all your replies, and I hope to see every one of you down here with me.
Okay. And I swear it was in multicolors. But, you know, we ain't gonna... Really? Man, I keep doing that. My doggy. It's weird, isn't it? Ooh. Chicken nuggets on a stick. Okay. Let's have a look. Anything else? Apparently so. Let's have a look. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Okay, we Gucci. We Gucci. Let's have a look at this one. Sorry, I couldn't make it look better for you, but you know. Turn it down a bit, because they're right. Oh, so this is another one going up the stairs. Do you remember in the story when I... Yeah. Okay. I just hit myself in the face with the controller.
Get the fuck out! Get out of
I'm gonna call the police!
Jesus Christ! That's it. That was scary. Stop. Stop. It wasn't a rape whatsoever. Okay then. That's just okay. God.
I was born
in. Well, that didn't shit me up whatsoever. No, it did not. Let you see what? What I just watched? Mate, you saw it. You saw it, Charles. You saw it. Or just rewind the stream later. Then you can see it. Nice. Nice. Okay. No, I went to eat. Oh. I mean, you can rewind the stream later. It's Gucci. I'm not showing it again because, you know. Yeah. There we go. Jesus Christ. Honestly, scared the living bejesus out of me. Oh my God. Whew, that was a jump scare and a half. There's a live gravity field festival. Cool. Sorry, it's a good song. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. Okay. I'm confused on why you're telling me this. But okay. Right, so this is all I've got for today. I made a chill live stream trying to read out my favourite scary story. Also, something I'll talk to you about on private messages. So yeah. This is Caloden Local 21 and Slenderman, and a bit of watching the Caloden Local 21 stuffs and just chilling for a bit. And yeah, it's great seeing you lot. I love you guys. See you in the next video. Bye!